it's the quickest way from point A to point B. At least for Frederick, who has joined the army of Parisians adopting this new mode of transport. Goodbye traffic jams, farewell packed public transport. Make way for the electric scooter.
I left work 10 minutes ago and I have another 5 minutes before I get home. Before, it used to take me around 1 hour. I've saved several hundred hours in travel time over the course of a year.
Electric scooters are ideal in Paris, a city relatively flat and compact, but they're not the only new kid on the block. E-bikes, unicycles, hoverboards and skateboards, all examples of urban transport with an electric twist.
In terms of energy, they have a point in common. They are machines that don't need much material to make and that don't need a lot of energy to transport someone. And if you can compare them with a motorbike or a car, we can divide by 5 or even 15 the energy necessary to move the same person over the same distance.
In 2018, the number of two wheels in Paris exploded with the arrival of free-floating scooters, the shared scheme working so well that regulation is still racing to catch up.
One of the problems is that often these new modes of transport are adopted by those who would have otherwise taken public transport, when the real challenge is convincing people to give up the king of the road, their cars, or at least switch to cleaner ones. If Paris wants to meet its target of being carbon neutral by 2050, there's still some serious work ahead. The town hall already plans to phase out diesel cars by 2024, those run on petrol by 2030, and offers €5,000 to anyone willing to buy a so-called clean vehicle. Parking is also free for electric cars, but how easy is it to be 100% electric in a city like Paris?
We put the city to the test with a driver who recently switched to an electric car. Christian zigzags across Paris for his job and tries to charge his battery at least once a day. First attempt this morning, a public charging station installed last year.
It's a mystery, it doesn't work.
The hunt continues.
It's taken, so I can't plug it in here. I'll have to find another one.
Attempt number 3 looks promising at first.
Charging error. It doesn't work. We've wasted almost an hour. We've crossed a quarter of Paris and we still don't have a charging station that works.
Finally, signs of success, but it's taken 45 minutes and 4 attempts.
It's a shame that there are not more stations in working order. Here we can see this one is in good condition. We cross our fingers that there will be more in Paris.
Paris has 1,600 charging stations, 2/3 of them offering a slow charge. If the city wants to encourage electric cars, it'll need more and faster charging stations. Is the town hall doing enough? We ask Paris's deputy mayor, but first we show him our experience with Christian and the struggle of charging his car.
It's a mystery, it doesn't work.
Do you think that's acceptable?
We're still trialing the system because it was only installed a few months ago. Today, out of these 270 charging stations, the system works around 80% of the time. That's not very satisfying for the remaining 20%, which means there's room for improvement.
There are many people, though, who hesitate to buy a car because there's no stations. You're saying that you're trying to offer the supply and that will create the demand. At the moment, the supply has a serious problem.
We are using a system that works overall. There are cases when it doesn't work, but we also saw that at one of the stations there were 2 cars charging. That demonstrates a certain level of success and demand. We're going to continue investing to improve things.
Do you drive an electric car?
No, but I have an electric bike, so I use my bike a lot in Paris. And I have a driverless car called the Metro, which I also use every day.
Impossible then to know the problems faced by electric car drivers. But some residents have found their own solution, a personal charging station for an individual cost of €900, €10 per month for maintenance, another €20 for electricity.
I decided to install an electric plug beside my private parking to be free, completely independent, and also to avoid being a victim of the unpredictability of charging stations in Paris.
In 4 hours, Catherine's electric car is fully charged, giving her 300 to 350 kilometres of autonomy. It's the deluxe option, and one that doesn't work for everyone in Paris.
This charging station makes life easier when you have it at your home, and you're lucky enough to have a parking space. There are lots of Haussmannian buildings in Paris that don't have parking. In general, the private option at home is necessary and will allow us to improve the situation enormously, but a shared solution on the street is also crucial.
Paris has no concrete plans on the number and speed of charging facilities in the years to come. These early adopters may be helping to fine-tune the system, but until driving an electric car in Paris gets easier, the necessary masses will hesitate to make the switch.
Et voilà.